This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
So we've sort of set the stage here for a sellout crowd, 7,200 fans. About 1,200 of those were comps, but you got 6,000 fans here paying $90,000. And turns out there was at least 1,000 people turned away at the door. So
wow.
Had we not given the comps, we could have sold it out legitimately. This is a lot different than the WCW that existed just a few years prior to this, is it not?
Yeah, it's listen, all of it to me is based on Eric Bischoff bringing in Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff taking the reins of our company. I think that all, boy, this girl's had too much to drink and it's only the start of the show. I think it's after all we've been talking about prior to us playing this, that I would say in the open, this is the number one wrestling company in the world.
I love it. I love it.
Just another shot.
As we see Public Enemy coming out here, I want to mention something that made the newsletter that just made me howl with laughter.
During this time or just recently?
Way back when.
Way back when. Okay.
Meltzer would write, Johnny Grunge was in the car with Hugh Morris when he was pulled over in Florida. Kevin Sullivan and Eric Bischoff had played a rib on Grunge while he was in Florida and had a guy who pretended to be a cop pretend to arrest him. Did you hear about this? What a rib.
No, I did not, but Kevin Sullivan, man.
I love that so much.
Sullivan was, listen, we just saw the open of the show.
Yes.
Did you see how Sullivan was whipping Brian Pillman with that leather strap? He was not holding back.
No, and they were putting in sound effects for this, which is great. Of course, this is, as many people recall, this is going to become the Brian Pillman show. And we're going to talk about that in a major way. But
yeah,
before we do, I wanted to mention some other news and notes as we head in here. I guess we should first talk about this show. We had a lot of dark matches, or at least shows that were on the pre-show, if you will, matches that were on the pre-show, rather. The Road Warriors are here, and they're on the pre-show, not the pay-per-view. They're going to be taking on Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater. Of course, the Roadies get the win in 2 minutes and 6 seconds. As we see Rocco Rock bringing what looks like the world's largest table, and it's still got the skirt on it, which makes it, I don't know, more believable.
I think the Road Warriors ended up did facing the winner of the Harlem Heat match.
But I'm just saying, it's interesting that, you know, we've got that as part of the pre-show, but I guess that makes sense. You know, you want to get, hey, don't you want to see them again and all that jazz?
Sure. And
Chris Kanyon is in the second match, which is also a dark match. It'll be Hugh Morris picking up a win over Chris Kanyon with a moonsault in 228. Dave would say, doesn't Kanyon look like the Giant's little brother? I think it's fun to think about Kanyon being here as a part of the organization way before Mortis. You know what I mean? Sure. This is an early appearance by him. Bubba Rogers would team with VK Wall Street to beat Craig Pittman and Joey Maggs. They gave it a dud rating. I can't figure out why. Then Duggan was scheduled to take on a surprise opponent who turned out to be Kevin Sullivan. And after about 30 seconds, Loch Ness waddled to the ring and destroyed Duggan, Pittman, Maggs, Starr, Ricky Santana, and Dave Sierra with elbow drops. It was really bad. -1 star. What's your favorite Loch Ness match?
I remember Loch Ness. I don't remember him from a pay-per-view. I remember him from Center Stage.
Well, he was in Uncensored.
Well, he was?
Yes. So Meltzer would say the show also saw the introduction of an embarrassment of a newcomer, the 53-year-old Loch Ness Monster, which is Luke McMasters from England, who appears to have ballooned every bit of 600 pounds since the last time we'd seen him, and nearly had a coronary doing a pre-show run-in. Worse yet, it was obvious he's being groomed for a key spot in the next pay-per-view opposite Hogan, who, after doing 2 jobs in a row on Nitro, is probably going to get it back by destroying 4 men and 4 cages in a row at Uncensored. So there you go. Loch Ness is here. I did want to mention this whole Hogan doing 2 jobs. This is the era where we saw Arn Anderson beat Hulk Hogan. Would you have ever thought you would have seen that?
No, and thinking about it now, I do remember him beating Hulk Hogan, but I'm trying to rack my brain why they would have Hogan do these 2 jobs.
To prove that he's one of the boys, that he's a team player and all that nonsense.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought, just to try to say, okay, you think that I can't do a job here, I'll do two of them, type thing.
The Monday Nitro on February 12th in Tampa drew 6,000 fans, but there were only 1,000 paying fans. So the gate for this Nitro is $5,000.
Hmm.
Giveaway show put together by Dr. Harvey Schiller and George Steinbrenner.
Mm-hmm.
But Lord have mercy, you're running a Nitro and the gate's $5,000. What the hell?
Well, I think that was, as a matter of fact, I'm almost positive that was at the fairgrounds, which was a very small venue, because that was the fairgrounds was the place where George Steinbrenner had an inn, or knew of some people, or was a part of the board of directors of the fairgrounds, and that's where it ran. So it was a smaller venue in Tampa, and I remember that because there's a picture, I don't know if you've seen, of me and George Steinbrenner and Bobby Heenan and Tina Martinez all together. That was taken at that event at the fairgrounds.
I want to mention we're talking over a pretty fun match. Not a traditional match, of course. This is a street fight. It's going to go 7 minutes and 49 seconds. And we've got a 2-camera shot here. So I encourage you. Oh, big table bump there.
Mm.
If you haven't already, go out of your way to watch this with us. The Nasty Boys ultimately are going to get their hand raised. We've talked about it for years here on the program. They're one of my guilty pleasures. I can't explain why I like them. I do. Meltzer would say this was a brawl using tables, chairs, and a few garbage cans. All the blows were stiff and made great sound, but there was no selling at all and no psychology or story to the match. The crowd was on its feet since the blows were so stiff. At one point, Knob slammed Rocco Rock through a table. Sags pile drove Grunge on a garbage can, but Grunge hit Grunge came right back up, I think is what Dave meant.
Yeah.
Hit Sags with the garbage can. Knobs suplexed the table on Rock. Sags never sold a thing. Grunge used a face buster on Sags on a chair. They wound up brawling to the back where they had a fake concession stand set up. And Rocco came off a low balcony with a senton onto a table. And when Knobs moved, he went through the table and Knobs pinned him 2 3/4 stars. Listen, they're brawlers, and this is very much when ECW has a bunch of buzz for doing these type of hardcore matches.
Right.
And perhaps nobody was more over once upon a time in ECW than the Public Enemy. And the Public Enemy need a dance partner. And boy, this is just right up the Nasty Boys alley, is it not?
It is, and it's actually very well done so far.
Yeah.
I find it odd, maybe not odd. I like how they throw things at each other. I find it odd that here we are, I don't know how many minutes into a street fight to open up the show, and there's no juice. And maybe it's because of the letter that you read.
Yeah,
absolutely. We'll open up the show and we'll not juice on the first one.
Well, they're probably also in this era saying, if anybody's going to do that, it's got to be Hogan, brother.
Yeah. Well, again, you really, the old school way is to build to the main event.
Well, but once upon a time, a street fight with all these weapons, people hitting each other in the head with stuff. Yeah. You're going to zippity doo dah.
Meltzer said there was no selling, but damn if Knobs didn't sell right there, buddy.
Well, I think he meant Sags never sold the thing.
Oh, okay.
All right, so here we go. It looks like we're going to set up the big table spot here.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to hear what Dusty's going to say when this happens. So we'll want to track the audio here.
Okay.
This guy is climbing up in the stand. We have maybe a first. We've got a wrestler in the stands. Doug Dillinger there to protect the fans. He's on top. Rocco Rock. Oh, my goodness. That's it. Knobs moved out of the way. He nails it. 1, 2, 3. This one is over. Oh, I hope there's no.
Man, that was pretty fun. We'll cut the audio here, but I really dug that as a finish. And boy, he didn't get all that table. It just kind of slowed him down.
I dug it as a finish too. I thought it was very, very well done.
And these guys are making more money than they ever did in ECW, I'm sure.
Of course.
Besides getting pretend arrested. And looks like we got some highlights here. What are we seeing here, Tony?
Okay, we are seeing that pile driver on the trash can, suplex on the table, broke it in half, and here's the finish. And fans are with him, as you can see, man. They are just, oh. And he rolled out of the way. Holy shit. That's not good. Rocco's no longer with us, but man, had he grown old, he would have felt that hip shot on the floor a lot. Man, protect your hips, guys and girls. Protect your hips.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.